If you have taken a look at the statement conclusion video which we have already published, you'll realize that statement arguments is actually very similar to statement conclusion. The only difference in statement arguments is as follows. First they'll give you a statement, then they'll give you two or more arguments, okay, and you have to decide whether the argument is strong or if the argument is weak. It's very easy, there's nothing to it, you just have to determine which argument is strong, which argument is weak. This table tells you what kind of arguments would be considered strong, and this side tells you what kind of arguments would be considered as weak. We'll come to the table, but before that let's take a look at few more things related to statement arguments, okay. Now in statement argument, what you need to do first is you need to use logic and common sense, okay, while deciding whether an argument is strong or weak. The first thing is that whatever is given in the statement, it is always true. We have to take it as absolute truth, okay. Now using whatever is given in the statement, then you have to use your logic and common sense just like statement conclusion, but you have to make sure that you also consider the morals, you also consider the ethics, and you also consider the current happenings or general knowledge that is there, okay, in the world. What is happening right now, whatever is happening in the world, we have to consider those things also depending on that, but it is not given that much importance, but that should be kept in perspective while deciding whether an argument is strong or weak. We'll see examples how we can keep this morals, ethics and general knowledge and all that stuff in perspective while deciding whether an argument is strong or weak, okay, in further examples. But please remember, consider morals, ethics. In statement conclusion over here, you never consider morals and ethics, but over here in statement argument, you have to consider morals, ethics to a certain extent, okay. Now coming to the most important point when it comes to statement and argument, it is practicality, okay. Whatever argument is there, that has to be practical, that has to be implementable. You cannot have anything arbitrarily. Like for example, if someone says the distance between USA and Japan is too high, so what to do? So argument can be made that man should have wings and man should fly from US to Japan or Japan to US. So it is not at all practical, right? It is some like assumption or over exaggeration or some that kind of thing that makes the argument very weak. So to have a strong argument, you should take care of practicality. The argument must be very practical. Now let's take a look at what kind of arguments are strong and what kind of arguments are weak. First, strong argument. Whenever the argument is regarding security of a nation, okay, our nation or something like that, then it is a very strong argument. Again, socio-economic development of the country, it is a strong argument. Universal truth, like for example, if people say that matter, the smallest element of matter is atoms, so it is a universal truth, it is proven fact. So universal truth is always a strong argument. Then instructions from a supreme authority. What do you mean by supreme authority? So like the constitution or the president or the prime minister, all these people can constitute a supreme authority or a superior in a company, or your supervisor or the CEO, management and board of directors, all that stuff. These are supreme authorities and any instructions or orders given by them are to be considered as strong argument, okay. Next is facts, but not any fact or any statement. It is facts based on experience or a proof. Arbitrary sentences which have no basis or no experience or proof, those cannot be considered strong argument. Only facts based on experience or proof. Then educational development comes under socio-economic development of a country, okay. Now apart from this, there is another thing that I would like to add when it comes to strong argument. It is whenever the argument is in the form of an advice or a suggestion, okay, and if the advice and suggestion is practical, then it should be considered as a strong argument, okay. If the advice or suggestion is not relevant or it is not practical, then it is not a strong argument, but advice and suggestion mostly is very strong argument. Another point that you need to consider while deciding strong weak argument is that the argument must be very much relevant, okay. If the argument is relevant, then only you can consider it. If it is not relevant, it directly becomes a weak argument. Okay, it should be relevant to the problem statement. Now, let us see what all are weak arguments. We have already seen an irrelevant or irrelevant argument is a weak argument. Now, over exaggeration, just like man should have wings and all that stuff, and I should fly, I should go above the clouds and all that stuff, that is over exaggeration. That constitutes weak argument. Assumption, assuming some things without any proof, any concrete evidence, then it is a weak argument. Now next, words like each, nothing, every, all, only, I'll add a few more, none, no one, etc. These constitute a weak argument. Why? Very simple reason. Not all people or all things are same or similar. Okay, each individual is different. So including every person, all people, or not including any person or no people or something like that, this cannot happen. That makes a argument very, very weak. You cannot say every person in this world is intelligent or every person in this world is stupid or something like that, because it is a very, very weak argument. You cannot keep everyone in the same line. Okay, each person is unique. Next is comparison. When you compare two or more things, right? When you compare two or more things, it is a weak argument. Again, comparison is similar to this, that not all people are same. Then ambiguous. Ambiguous means unclear, okay, or not exactly explained, not properly explained, or there are two or more meanings to it. So we are very hesitant to decide what exactly the person is trying to say. So such ambiguous arguments are weak. Half explained arguments are also very, very weak. So this is what is strong and weak argument. Statement: should military training be made compulsory in our country? Arguments: yes, every child should go through this training. No, it is not compulsory in USA. Now, we have seen the table. Whenever we see the word every, it is a weak argument. Okay. Also, second argument, no, it is not compulsory in USA. Here, comparison is made between our country and USA. So, this again for comparison becomes a weak argument. Now, why weak argument, both of them? Now, over here, what they say, every child should go through this training. Now, emotionally, if you think emotionally, this is very right. No, there should be military training. Everyone must be capable of defending our country and all that stuff. But not every child is strong physically. Okay, not every child is strong mentally. So, not the military training is not suitable for every child. So, making such common assumptions or putting everyone in the same caste or same format or something like that is not correct. It is not logical. So, whenever there is word every or something like that, always make it a weak argument. Now over here, no, it is not compulsory in USA. Again, we are trying to compare ourselves with USA. USA might be at a different level when it comes to development or when it comes to defenses. We are at a different level. So we cannot compare ourselves with USA or some other country. Okay. So since it is comparison, it is weak argument. So neither 1 nor 2 is strong. So answer is D. This is the format of sum that is asked. They give you statement, they give you 2 arguments, and they'll have 5 options. If only argument 1 is strong, A. If only argument 2 is strong, B. C. If either 1 or 2 is strong, D. If neither 1 nor 2 is strong, and E. If both 1 and 2 are strong. Okay. So these options would be given to you. So here the answer is D. Should private sector be allowed to participate in development of railways? Arguments are yes, this is one of the ways to provide better services to the public. Yes, this is a strong argument. Why? Because this is related to development of the country. Again, I am telling, see the table, by heart the table regarding strong and weak arguments. Okay. Next, no, there will be exploitation and fares may also increase. Now over here, you might again emotionally think this is a very strong argument, but it is not. It is a weak argument. Why? Because by not allowing private sector, we are going against the development of a nation. Development of the nation, socio-economic development of nation is a strong argument. Going against a strong argument, that means it is a weak argument. Now they say that fares may also increase. There is chance that it might increase, it might not increase. Okay, there is no definite proof that is given, or no, there is no definite consensus. Also, they say there will be exploitation. Again, there is no proof regarding it. It is just a statement. Also, it is going against the development. So this is a weak argument. Only one is strong. Statement: should more big industries be started in urban areas? Arguments: yes, it will create job opportunities. No, it will increase population and pollution. Now this is a very important sum. This is a very important problem where we are going to talk about advantage, disadvantage and all that stuff. They have asked, should more big industries be started in urban areas? One argument is yes, that it will create job opportunities. So this is like an advantage of starting big industries in urban areas, more big industries. Second is that it will increase population and pollution. This is very correct, because cities are already crowded. More population would be there, more pollution would be there. So this is a very strong disadvantage. Advantage is also strong, disadvantage is also strong. So what you can say is that 1 is strong and 2 is strong, so mark both 1 and 2, okay? But this is not the case. You should not mark both 1 and 2. Why? I'll tell you. Now advantage is going in one direction, disadvantage is going in opposite direction. They both are going in the opposite directions. If we try to follow advantage, we are suffering from disadvantage. If we are trying to follow disadvantage, we cannot take you cannot reap the benefits of these advantage, that is job opportunities. Both are going in exactly opposite directions, advantage and disadvantage. They are not moving in the same direction. So this is strong or this is strong. Either you can go this way or this way. That is the reason we have to choose if either 1 or 2 is strong. Always remember, whenever you get advantage or disadvantage, always choose either 1 or 2. If both of them are strong, then choose either 1 or 2 is strong. Okay. Now, if there are two statements, they both are trying to achieve the same goal and both are strong, then only you will choose the fifth option. Okay, that is both 1 and 2 are strong. But right now the answer is C, if either 1 or 2 is strong. Statement: should government relax foreign direct investment? Arguments: no, it will not help the domestic traders. Yes, it will boost growth. Immediately second argument, you see this is related to development of the nation, socio-economic, so this becomes a strong argument. Now the first one over here, what do we see? No, it will not help the domestic traders. Now if you look logically, what happens due to foreign direct investment? We get foreign currency, we get foreign technology. So whatever foreign currency, foreign technology is there, it would help the domestic traders also. It would, because of the technology, because of the competition, they would become better and better. Okay, so this is a very weak argument which is going against the development. Okay, since it is going against the development, it becomes a very weak argument. We cannot remain isolated in this world. We have to interact with other nations, and to be good at that, to be better than other nations, we should allow other people's technology, foreign currency to come into India to a limited extent, right? So this is a very weak argument, this is strong, so answer is B. Only argument 2 is strong. Statement: should basic computer knowledge be made a compulsory subject? Arguments: no, there are many other important courses available which should be made compulsory. No, students should be given the choice. Now over here, look at the first argument. Here they are talking about in the statement basic computer knowledge. We, just like we learnt in the tips at the start, that we have to take care of the current happenings in the world, where the world is going, what exactly is going on. So we can know that basic computer knowledge is the need of the time. You need to have basic computer knowledge. You need to know how to handle a computer, how to how to operate internet, or how to surf on the net, how to send a mail and all that stuff, because that is going to be the norm in the future. So not making basic computer knowledge compulsory and giving importance to other courses is not an option. We need to have basic computer knowledge. So the first one is a very weak argument. There might be other important courses. Okay, you can make basic computer knowledge as compulsory, and you can even have other important courses which could be made compulsory, but you cannot skip computers. Okay, you cannot skip basic computer knowledge. So the first argument is weak. Now here second argument is students should be given the choice. Now you might be tempted to mark this again as a strong argument, that we cannot force anyone, we have to make it the choice of the students. If the students don't like it, then we should not make it compulsory. But again, this is not a strong argument, this is a weak argument. Okay, why? Because if students are given a choice, they might choose the computer knowledge, okay, or they might not choose the computer knowledge, but we already know that everyone must have basic computer knowledge, otherwise they won't survive in the future, okay. So students should not be given the choice in this case. Students should learn computer knowledge, at least the basics should be known to them. So again, second is also a weak argument, so both are weak, so neither is strong, so answer is D. Moving to the next question. Statement: is the government justified in spending such a huge amount on space mission? Arguments: yes, space missions of the country are of paramount importance. No, if this amount is spent on development work, everybody will benefit from it. Take a look at the second argument. It talks about development of the country, spending the amount for development, and everyone will benefit from it. So it is a strong argument. First one, yes, space missions of the country are of paramount importance. Now if you think logically, we can say yes, the space missions are of paramount importance. So this is a strong argument. Space missions are necessary. So what we'll do is we'll write both of them are strong. Or some of you might think that, okay, this is like an advantage, that space mission are important, and second one is like disadvantage, going in the opposite direction. That means that we can use the amount in the other way. So let us write either one or two is strong. But actually the first one is a very weak argument. Why? Because see, in the second one they are given by development work, everyone will benefit from it. But in the first sentence they have just given space missions are of paramount importance. They have not given any fact or any evidence that how space missions are important and how they will help others. Had they given that because of the space missions the rural areas would get connected or something like that, or because of space missions this bandwidth will increase, or communication will become easier and all that stuff, then we would have said that this is strong, okay. But right now they have just given a statement, subjective statement, that space missions are of paramount importance. So this is a half explained argument. Also, this is a very weak argument because there is no justification, or it is ambiguous. We cannot determine whether the space missions can be beneficial for all or whether it would be beneficial for a select few. So only the second one is strong. So answer is B. Statement: should government close down loss-making public sector enterprises? Arguments: no, all employees will lose their jobs and earning. Yes, in a competitive world, the rule is survival of the fittest. Now, the second argument is a universal truth. We know that we need to compete in this world, otherwise you won't survive, okay. Now, the first one, no, all employees will lose their jobs and earnings. Here, you might think this is very strong, this is very correct, morally, ethically, this is the correct argument, we should follow it, but it is absolutely not practical. If government continues with the loss-making public sector enterprises, government will go into more loss. So this is not practical. So this is a weak argument. Don't get emotional. See the practicality of the argument also. So the answer is B. Statement: should capital punishment be abolished? Arguments: yes, it should be abolished because life is the gift of the God. Even the state has no right to take away one's life. No, ignorance of law is making all the culprits fearless. So to reduce the crime rate, capital punishment is necessary. Take a look at the second argument. It says to reduce the crime rate, capital punishment is necessary. So based on some fact or some experience that because of capital punishment crime rate is decreasing, some stats or something like that is given. So this becomes a very strong argument, okay. Here it is properly explained. It is facts are presented with experience of crime rate reducing or increasing of crime rate, okay. Now the first argument, yes, it should be abolished because life is the gift of God. Now this is like some people might believe in God, some might not believe in God. So this is like we cannot decide whether this is universal truth or not, okay. So let's see what is the next sentence. It is, even the state has no right to take away one's life. This we know for sure is a universal truth. No state has right to take away a person's life or an individual's life. So both of them are strong, okay. So both 1 and 2 are strong. Now here there is no advantage or disadvantage. Since there is no advantage or disadvantage and both are strong, it is not necessary to mark either 1 or 2 is strong. Both of them can be strong at the same time. Both of them are talking about capital punishment. So since it is not advantage, disadvantage, don't mark either 1 or 2 is strong. Mark both 1 and 2 are strong. It's very easy. Just practice and you will be able to master this topic.